The alarm still hadn't stopped when Viority opened her eyes. At first, she thought the shrill wail meant they were under attack, maybe pirates, maybe a hostile patrol, but the screens told a stranger story. The emergency wasn't external. It was her. She tried to sit up and failed. Every nerve felt like it was humming, like her blood had been replaced with liquid electricity. Her skin burned beneath the medbay lights, and her heart pounded hard enough to make the biomonitor spike into the red. The last thing she remembered was clinking glasses with the crew after their victory on Kestrel 4, humans, laughing, celebrating, handing her a drink they called solar fire. She downed it like any soldier would. And now, this, easy, said Dr. Lyra, the ship's medic, leaning over her with a mixture of concern and scientific curiosity. Your system's reacting to something. And before you ask, no, it's not the alcohol. What did I drink? Viara croaked. Her voice sounded raw, like she'd swallowed sandpaper. The doctor hesitated. A prototype serum. Classified. Designed to enhance human soldiers in combat. Speed, focus, reflexes. It should have been locked up. Somehow, you ingested it. A hollow laugh escaped her. And now? Lyra's expression tightened. Now it's rewriting your physiology. I've never seen anything adapt this fast. Viara stared at the ceiling, nausea swirling with dread. Aurelians were similar to humans, but not identical. Different hormones, neural patterns, even mating cycles. If the serum was changing her biology, there was no telling what else it might unlock. And already, something darker stirred beneath her fear, a pulse of hunger that wasn't hunger at all. It scared her more than any enemy ever had. I need to know what's happening to me, she whispered. The doctor offered a sympathetic smile. We'll find out. But Viara, whatever this is, it's only the beginning. Alone later in her quarters, she stared at her trembling hands, willing them still. Her body felt alien, like it wasn't hers anymore. And in the hollow silence of space, one thought looped in her head. If I lose control, the danger isn't just mine, it's everyone's. For the next 2 days, Viara tried to pretend everything was normal. She joined the morning briefings, reviewed mission protocols, even sparred with the security team. But every hour, the storm inside her grew harder to hide. Her senses sharpened first. The hum of the ship's engines, once background noise, now felt like a heartbeat under her skin. She could hear footsteps 3 decks away and pick up the faintest chemical change in a person's scent. The most unsettling part wasn't the power. It was a pull. Every time Captain Jace Mercer walked into the room, her pulse tripped into chaos. His voice made her skin prickle. His scent, once barely noticeable, now felt magnetic. She avoided him at first, terrified of what might happen if she didn't. But fate had other plans. During a routine systems check, Jace cornered her in the hangar, eyes full of quiet concern. You've been distant, he said. Talk to me, Viara. What's going on? She forced a smile that fooled neither of them. Just tired. New physiology, new problems. Lyra told me about the serum, he said gently. We'll fix this. His kindness should have comforted her. Instead, it made the ache worse. Her body leaned toward him before she could stop it, drawn by some primal force she didn't understand. She took a quick step back, fist clenched, pretending to check a readout on the wall. It was getting harder to focus on anything else. Meditation, cold showers, and isolation barely dulled the storm. Ways? Strange new abilities were emerging. Doors slid open when she approached without touching the panel, and ship systems responded to her thoughts. Lyra realized that the serum was fusing with her alien neurobiology, amplifying both instinct and control. But there was a darker side. During a drill, a surge of uncontrolled energy rippled from her, stunning half the team with an overwhelming rush of euphoria. They recovered quickly, laughing it off, but Viara's heart sank. If she lost control again, the consequences could be catastrophic. Lying awake that night, she stared at the ceiling and whispered to the dark, I'm turning into something I don't even recognize. And somewhere deep inside, the serum pulsed like a living thing, growing stronger, waiting for its moment. By the 4th day, Viara knew something was very wrong. The serum wasn't just changing her anymore, it was reaching beyond her body. A single brush of her hand against a console sent sparks of energy crawling across the ship's network. The lights flickered. Gravity fluctuated. Even the AI stuttered mid-sentence. It felt as if the vessel itself was sinking with her heartbeat. Then the unthinkable happened. During a rescue mission near drifting civilian transport, Viara was ordered to lead the boarding team. The moment she stepped aboard, a wave of heat rippled through the air, invisible but potent. Within minutes, crewmates were acting strangely, laughing uncontrollably, speaking without filters, leaning into impulsive decisions. The serum's influence was no longer confined to her bloodstream. It had become contagious. Panic swept the ship. Dr. Lyra quarantined the affected crew, but the number of cases doubled every hour. The phenomenon wasn't just spreading through contact, it was traveling through proximity, and if it reached the main colony orbiting nearby, millions could be at risk. In the middle of the chaos, Viara stumbled upon something worse than the outbreak itself. Hidden logs in the command database revealed a classified directive. In the event of uncontrolled mutation, deliver subjectee into Central Command. Lethal containment authorized. The betrayal cut deeper than any physical pain. Captain Jace, the man she trusted most, had known about the contingency. When she confronted him on the observation deck, his expression was heavy with guilt. "I was trying to protect the crew," he said. "This isn't just about you anymore, Viara. If Command thinks you're a threat, they'll destroy this ship." Her voice trembled. "So you'd hand me over to them?" "I don't want to," he whispered, "but I might not have a choice." That night, as alarms wailed and containment teams raced through the halls, Viara stood alone at the viewport, staring into the endless dark. The man she loved doubted her. The people she swore to protect feared her. And deep inside, the serum pulsed stronger than ever, no longer a mistake, but a force that might consume everything she cared about. The storm reached its peak on the 7th day. Half the crew were under the serum's influence, impulsive, restless, some even violent, while the ship drifted under quarantine protocols. Every passing hour increased the chance that Command would send a strike team to neutralize the threat. Viara knew they meant her. Locked in her quarters, she stared at her trembling reflection. Her third eye glowed brighter than ever, casting a crimson halo across the room. She had fought monsters before, pirates, warlords, entire fleets, but this time the monster stared back from a mirror. A soft knock pulled her from her thoughts. It was Dr. Lyra, her face pale and drawn. "I've found something," she said, holding up a tablet. "The serum isn't malfunctioning. It's adapting, evolving to your physiology. And according to these results, it's rewriting your DNA into a potential cure." Viara blinked. "A cure?" "For the contagion," Lyra confirmed. "If we extract the altered cells from your system, we might be able to reverse the effects for everyone. But," her voice faltered, "the procedure will almost certainly kill you." The words hung heavy in the air. Death wasn't new to Viara. She'd made peace with that possibility long ago. But the thought of vanishing like this, remembered not as a soldier or explorer, but as a mistake, that was harder to swallow. She asked for time to think, but the universe didn't wait. Minutes later, the ship shook under sudden impact, an enemy boarding party. A rival alien faction had been tracking their distress signals, and now they wanted a living weapon for themselves. Chaos erupted across the decks. In the middle of the panic, Jace found her. His eyes were bloodshot, his voice desperate. "We don't have time. If you do nothing, we lose everything. If you go through with Lyra's plan, you might die, but you'll save us all." Viara stared at him, torn between love and duty, fear and resolve. Somewhere deep inside, beneath the noise and terror, the answer was clear. "Then that's the choice I have to make," she whispered. "For all of us." And with that, she walked toward the med bay, toward the chamber that could end her life or save countless others. The med bay felt colder than Viara remembered. Maybe it was the sterile lighting or the low hum of the machines, or maybe it was the weight of what she was about to do. As she lay on the diagnostic table, she caught her reflection in the polished steel above, not the soldier she once was, not the disciplined officer or the quiet outsider. She saw someone becoming something else, a weapon, a cure, a choice. "Once we begin, we can't stop," Dr. Lyra warned, hands trembling as she prepared the extraction module. You understand that? Vyara nodded. Do it. Jay stood beside her, his hand wrapped tightly around hers. I should have trusted you from the start, he said. Voice roll. I was scared. I was too, she admitted, forcing a small smile. But fear doesn't get the last word. The machine hissed to life, and agony tore through her veins. It felt like fire and ice colliding beneath her skin, unraveling every cell and rewriting it all at once. Her vision blurred, her breath hitched, and for a terrifying moment, she wondered if she'd ever open her eyes again. Then, silence. When she woke, the medbay was quiet. Lyra was slumped over console, asleep from exhaustion. Jay sat beside her, his face buried in his hands. He looked up the second she stirred, and the relief that washed over him nearly broke her heart. It worked, he whispered. The contagion is gone. Everyone's back to normal. The news felt distant, almost dreamlike. She was alive, weak, scarred, but alive. And the ship, it was safe. The outbreak, the fear, the chaos, all of it had ended with her choice. Days passed before she was strong enough to walk the halls again. People greeted her not with fear but with gratitude. Jokes and laughter returned to the mess hall. Life slowly knitted itself back together. On the observation deck, Jace joined her, the stars stretching endlessly before them. You saved us, he said quietly. She shook her head. We saved us. The vigilant horizon slipped forward into the unknown, carrying a crew forever changed, and a soldier who had faced a monster within and chosen to rise above it. And deep inside Vyara's chest, something pulsed faintly, not the serum, not the sickness, but a reminder that even the darkest transformations could lead to light.